everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Stevie.
Hi.
And, Steve, we have a special guest.
We do.
We have a special guest on this week. My dad is joining us. Ivan.
Hello. Hello.
You're not nervous?
No, not really. Not too bad.
Well, that's good.
It could be worse.
I'm curious
Okay.
if the listeners will have trouble deciphering between you two, because I think you guys sound exactly the same.
I heard you say that on
Yeah.
So I'm like, I wonder if people will get confused throughout this episode.
Well, that's possible. Anything's possible.
That's true.
But, we'll try to make that as easily as of a thing as possible so it doesn't become an issue. But so how was everybody's week?
Good.
only-
The
it's only
weather
Thursday.
has been beautiful.
Yeah, it has been nice, especially after the 1,000 degrees it was last week.
Yes,
But-
definitely.
But you like the heat.
I do, but I will always take it over the cold. But last week was it was tethering the line of miserable.
Okay.
Because you can't, it's the humidity that makes it, the heat index was so high.
Yeah.
It's like you walk outside and you're instantly sweating. That's
Yeah.
not.
Well, my dad likes the heat too. He prefers the heat,
Well, not as much as I used to.
Sure.
but So
Last week was horrible.
Okay. Yeah. I
Last
mean, that's
couple weeks was
probably
horrible.
just the general consensus. It was pretty, in mid-Missouri, I mean, you just can't, it gets that hot. It's just terrible.
yeah. I saw a picture on Twitter that somebody had made, and it was like a picture of the sun and the earth, and then halfway between the two it said Missouri, and that's what. So it was like another planet, halfway closer to the sun because of how freaking hot it was here.
Did feel that way.
So
Well, first of all, before we get too into it,
okay.
I want everyone to know, and at home, you can wish Kevin a happy birthday,
Oh,
because
yes.
yesterday was his birthday.
Yes, thank you.
Woo.
Okay, yeah, okay. Do we have, that's a,
Yay!
yeah. Yippee. Woohoo. Another
So-
year, another day. Doesn't really make a difference.
All right. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't. Does it? Do you think that, do you ever feel different on your birthdays? Because it doesn't really make a difference to me. It's another day.
It's not that I feel different, but I always think you should celebrate yourself.
Okay. I mean, I took the day off. Does that count?
That's great.
Okay.
You should always take the day off on your birthday. Working on your birthday is not cool.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I've never taken that day off.
Yeah, well, you're just weird. So,
Okay, subtle flex.
do you, have you ever had a problem with a birthday? I know the answer to this.
Yeah?
Which one?
50.
50.
Yes.
Was it? But you didn't have a problem with 40, 30, nothing else.
No.
Just 50.
Just 50.
What was the issue? Did you just think,
You
I'm
realize
not
you're
old now?
halfway to 100. You're definitely way over how long you're going to live, because most people don't live to be 100 years old.
Okay.
This is true.
40, tons of people live into the 80s now.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You're,
true.
you're a half a century old.
Yeah, that's a big number. That's for sure. Steve, have you ever had a birthday where you felt like I'm old now, or
No.
have you ever had a crisis on a birthday?
No, I'm really gonna try. I mean, my mindset could change as I get older.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna try to just be feel as young as I can.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with aging. I feel like just because I am the way that I am, I was never a huge in college. I've acted like an old person, quote unquote, my whole life.
Yeah.
I go to bed early, I wake up early. I like to stay in, and I'm just a simple gal. And I think I want to be 35. That to me is I want to be there. So I think I'm never going to have a problem. I
Okay.
think aging
Well, that's
is
good.
sounds fun.
Okay, well that's good.
I'm sure one day I won't think
Yeah, probably you'll hit an age that you'll be like, nope, don't want to go any
Yeah.
farther. But I'm kind of the same way. It doesn't really bother me. I don't know that I'm looking forward to it like that, but
Sure. We have talked about something, not on the podcast, but we've wanted to bring it up, and it kind of is a good segue. We've mentioned how, I feel like my dad has told me before, he used to not be, scared of heights, for example. But now that he's, as he gets older, he doesn't, maybe not mentally, but he's, physically, if I'm high up, I'm scared. And I think, something about getting older kind of gives you that, and Is that you too?
Yeah,
You've gotten like more
definitely.
scared of. Is it just heights, or is there other things like driving? Like, does anything else scare you
Oh,
more?
no, there's tons of stuff. I mean, I didn't used to be scared of heights at all.
Yeah,
'Cause I
or like
climbed all
roller
the time,
coasters, for
Oh,
example.
yeah, see, I wouldn't ride a roller coaster today. I used
Yeah.
to love them. When he was young, we hit every roller coaster we could. I can't, claustrophobia never used to bother me. Being claustrophobic, it does now. Driving doesn't bother me. I don't like to drive in the rain and the ice, where I used to love to drive on the ice.
Okay.
So I don't like that, but
And why do you think that is?
Mortality.
I think I think it's more when you get hurt, it hurts more.
Okay.
And you're more
that's a-
feared of being hurt because you
Sure.
take longer to recover when you get older.
Mortality. You know that there's more things that can kill you now than when you were,
Well,
and you
sure.
realize there's more things that can kill you now because you don't feel invincible. Like
Exactly. Yeah, you don't.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. It's definitely a little bit of that. Like, it's like a reality check.
Yeah.
Have you had any of that? I feel like you've said heights kind of bother you.
No, heights don't bother me as much as
Okay.
they used to.
Oh, they used to bother you more. Oh,
I have less problem with heights than I used to.
used to as in like a kid, like 15, 16. Like, what do you mean?
Like, I don't know. Just, yeah.
See,
Kid
heights.
to teenager to 20s. Yeah. I don't have as much of a problem with heights as I used to have.
Interesting.
See, I can't even stand to watch my guys up on scaffolding 3 stories high. That makes me so nervous just watching them being on it
Okay.
because I know what's going to happen if they fall off that scaffold.
Right. Yeah, so kind of some of that anxiety creeps in of like, oh, this could happen.
Yeah.
You
Right.
get more of that. Okay,
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's that makes sense. I mean, I think a lot of people as they get older do that because I think it is a mortality. It's a little bit of a mindset thing, and it is a little bit too. You know that if you do get hurt, it's going to take longer to recover. It's going to hurt more. And when you're younger, you think you're invincible. So,
Correct.
or a lot of people do anyway.
Yeah. You more when you're younger than
Yeah. But
yeah.
you don't like driving though.
I do
I
not.
know. Yeah. You don't like driving anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
period. If it's a routine route, I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
It's driving in traffic, driving in any type of weather that's not
Sunny.
sunny
Mm-hmm. Sunny and dry.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. It's driving with many lanes on a highway and driving in places that are just busy that maybe I've never been before. That is what bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much anything except just my day-to-day
Yeah.
driving.
You're home to work,
Yeah.
work to home. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I like driving. I like going places. I like just driving around. I think it's fun. So everybody's a little bit different, but
Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day. I would hate to not have the ability to drive at the same time. So it's kind of funny. Like, I like that I can when I don't have a car, like if it's being, worked on or whatever the case may be. That's always so inconvenient. And I hate that.
yeah.
So I like having the ability to drive. Driving itself,
Take it or leave it.
love-hate relationship for sure.
Okay. So what else is going on? You went to St. Louis last weekend, didn't you?
I
Was it
did.
last weekend?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Did
Went
you guys have fun?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I was doing some networking and some apartment hunting.
Yeah, we talked about that. You don't like that networking.
No, it's a little scary, but it went well.
That's good.
It was fine.
Do
know.
you how often have you gone to Kansas City? Do you prefer Kansas City or St. Louis?
St. Louis.
St. Louis?
Always have.
Okay. I think Kansas City is growing on me more.
I know-
It's because I didn't go there as much, I think, as a kid.
Okay.
So I've been to a lot of the things in St. Louis that I can think of. Like, I know I don't live there, so I don't know all the things, but
Right.
I haven't seen a lot of the stuff in Kansas City, so I don't know. I just kind of enjoy going there instead of St. Louis sometimes.
Huh. I haven't either, but that's kind of why I think I prefer St. Louis.
'Cause you went
I
to
think there's
Kansas
a little
City
bit of
more?
ignorance. Like, I just don't know. No, I've always just gone to St. Louis, so that's why I
okay.
like it more.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I don't know really. I've been to Kansas City and it's fine. I don't know. I think I've just always preferred St. Louis. I remember as a kid going to St. Louis was like a really big deal. We'd go there for like dance competitions, or like me and my family, we wanted to like go shopping, like Christmas shopping, we'd just go to St. Louis for a day and make a whole day out of it. So I think there's some nostalgia there that just St. Louis was like the big city
Yeah.
to me when I was a kid.
Yeah. I know when I was a kid, we always went to St. Louis more. Was there a reason that we went to St. Louis more?
Just the stuff we knew what there was to do there more than we did. We didn't know Kansas City that well at the
Okay.
time.
Kansas City probably at the time wasn't what it is now
I mean,
either. I feel like it's grown up. It's like,
it was still a good-sized city, though.
okay.
It would have still been a good-sized city. I mean,
Just
a lot
in
of that.
terms of like stuff to do, even
Yeah, I'm
as
sure
much
it was.
as there is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Worlds of Fun was there when I was a kid. That's not new.
No, but we always liked Six Flags.
We always went to Six
better than
Flags.
That's
Worlds
true.
of Fun.
I don't
so
remember ever going to Worlds of Fun, so
You may not have. I
Yeah.
don't know if we ever went when you was a kid.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
went when I was a kid. And
Okay.
We went once and never went back, so obviously we didn't like it that much.
Didn't like it that much, so okay. Well, I don't know. We always went to St. Louis, so I kind of got, I guess, bored with St. Louis. It is kind of what
Yeah.
happened, but
You get burned out.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping I don't, because I plan to live there.
Well, it's a little bit
but,
different, but yeah. I mean that. Yeah.
What's anything in the news that you've heard about? I guess, how long have you been like on vacation officially?
Just yesterday and today.
Okay.
Yeah. So
From both jobs?
yeah. Well, we've got that hurricane in Florida, which is fun. I haven't seen any updates on it.
No.
Last I knew, it was still off the coast, but
Every time I ask you about what's in the news, I never get a happy answer.
no.
It's like,
Happy
mean-
news don't make news.
No,
I guess
it
that's
usually doesn't.
true. In my world, it would.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice. Like, I would like to talk about happier things, but a lot of times that's just not what people want to hear.
This is true. It's not.
I
as
mean, people
interesting.
complain that they don't hear that, but they still don't watch that because otherwise that would get the ratings that the other stuff does. So it kind of is a thing that you just have to kind of work around.
Yeah, it's less
But-
shocking.
Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah, there's I did see the other day that a Ferrari sold for like $2 million that had been wrecked. It was pretty much destroyed and it still sold for $2 million, so that was fun.
Why?
It's just a classic. It's an old
Oh.
old racing Ferrari. They only made like 12 of them or something like that, so it's just a high value car.
You're really into cars.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this a lot. Are you as into cars, or even remotely?
Not as much as him.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the Mustangs. I love the Camaros. Other than that, I'm not into a lot of the cars that he is. No.
Right. You are like, anytime we talk about like, oh, if you had unlimited money, what would you do? Like,
Cars.
it always comes back to cars
Mm-hmm.
with you. And that's probably like one of the last things I would think of.
You don't like to drive, so that makes
Oh
sense.
my gosh. Full circle.
Wonder why.
Funny.
Yeah, I love cars. We used to go to car shows though. There's a Memorial Day car show at the fairgrounds in Springfield where I grew up and where he
Okay.
still lives. That they had a big car show. It's a lot of hot rods and a lot of American muscle cars and things like that. So it was a lot of the same things every year. So after a while, it got a little old because it's the same cars that you see all the time. But it was fun to go to.
We've actually got 2 car shows there now. We got that Route 66 or whatever it
that's
is
right.
downtown. That was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But a lot of the same cars that go to that one go to both of them.
Yeah.
So
You don't see like some of the old cars that you do at like Pebble Beach and the other car shows like that and stuff. But
What is it about? What attracts you to a car show?
I
Just
think
the
cars. Go ahead.
just the fascination of what people can do with them. I mean,
Okay.
you look at, how people can build a motor and make it all work. You look at how they can take a car from 1930 or 1940 and restore it and make it look like it just got pulled off the showroom floor.
Oh.
That's what I like about
Okay.
it. I mean, they just put them back to original or even better than original.
Okay. That could make sense. And I don't think I necessarily pick up on that type of thing. I don't.
I just like how pretty some of them are. I mean, they're
Yeah.
almost like works of art. Some of the old ones, especially when you go back a long ways, it's kind of amazing what they made, by hand and thing. Like
Yeah.
you think of now, it's all stamped out by a computer, welded together with a machine, and which is still amazing that a
Yeah.
machine is capable of doing that. But, back then it was all sculpted by hand. It was one big sheet of metal that they just took a hammer to and started hammering away, and eventually you got a car.
That is true. The cars made today, they all kind of replicate one another,
Yeah.
I feel. I mean, I know they're doing it's also based off like what's trendy and what people are going to buy.
And I think cars are better looking now than they were in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, but we didn't think that in the 80s and 90s.
Exactly.
So
Everything
they're, like-
everything changes, but if you go back to some of the old cars, there's some really pretty cars. There's actually a car museum in Fulton that has a bunch of old cars in it. So, but I know
That's
you
about
don't.
the
I
only
know
thing
you
in
don't.
Fulton.
Yeah, that's about the only thing in Fulton. But
That's interesting. I think cars are sleeker today, but I don't know. I don't think they look as cool. They're not as like for lack of a better term, I just feel like the older ones were more like gimmicky. Like you would see them in a movie and be like, "Whoa, what is that thing?" I don't know. And that's cooler to me, but I don't know if I would want to drive.
well, you're starting to get them now again, but back in the 1920s and 1930s and even before that, the 1910s, there was a lot of car companies that were very small, like maybe 10 people working there or something, like really small car companies. Then they kind of all went out of business because they couldn't afford to pay for metal or equipment or anything like that when you got into wartime. So a lot of them went out of business, and you just had the major big ones that would stamp out the cars, and that's what you had. And now you're getting more smaller companies that come back, like Rivian is a little bit smaller company, the electric car company. Tesla's a big company now, but comparative to like Ford, Tesla's a tiny little podunk shop, and things like that. So you have some more of them coming back now because it has been, with electric engines or electric motors, it's been made a lot easier to where you can, and a lot of companies will sell their motors or their engines, and you can just buy that and put it in a chassis and do that. But so you're getting a little bit of it back now, but you get more interesting things when you have a bunch of people doing different things and not just one company. Like, here's what it is.
Sure.
That was probably really boring for most people. I can see Steve's eyes rolling in the back of her head.
They were not rolling in the back of my head. I'm just trying to stay like in the convo because it gets to a point where I'm like, I don't really relate to this. I don't really have too much knowledge on this.
But yeah. So Steve,
Yes.
you just met my dad today.
Yes, this is true.
You have you had any questions? We've been doing this for months now. I talked to your dad about what you were like as a kid.
Well, we kind of did that on the Father's Day.
We did a little bit.
Special.
We did a little bit. But we talked to your dad about some stuff with you as a kid. We talked to him about different things. Did you have anything that you thought was interesting from the Father's Day thing or any time that you want more information on?
I mean, I often am still shocked to know that Kevin, quote unquote, flattened two children in what was it, like elementary school?
Yeah, I think it was. I want to say it was a third grade. I'm almost positive it was third grade.
And even more shocking, Kev has like completely erased it from his memory and didn't even
I was shocked about that.
know that he did it. So I'm like, what? Like, were you mad? Like, were you
I don't
just?
have a clue.
You don't even
It's not there. I don't know.
Like
I don't
the
remember this
whole-
happening. Nope.
incident.
Nope.
Were these kids like, terrors? Were they like
have a clue.
bugging people all the time?
Don't have a clue.
You don't remember that?
Nope.
You don't remember the whole
Nope.
going to school with them? Anything?
Nope.
Okay. Do you have more information on
The
that?
only thing I know is they was on the outside playground or on the basketball court outside, and Kevin had his back turned, and they run up behind him and jumped him, and Kevin flattened them both, and they got suspended. Kevin didn't get in trouble because once he flattened them, of course, he walked off. Now, if he would have stayed and finished them off, I guess would be a way to say it, he would have got suspended too.
Yeah.
But no, and luckily a teacher seen it, so there was
Right.
no questions of what happened.
Right.
But I don't know nothing about the kids. They didn't give me no names. They didn't.
Okay.
I don't know anything about whether they were good kids, bad kids. I don't know.
Gotcha. Was that like, were there other incidents like that with Kevin? Like where he had to kind of like defend himself or maybe
don't-
defend another person?
I don't think he really had anything. I mean, nobody even knows how these kids found out he did taekwondo because Kevin never talked about that. Was one of the things you learned when you first went into taekwondo is you keep it quiet. It's meant for defense, not for. If you advertise something like that as a kid, they're going to try to fight you. Just see how tough you are.
It's like Fight Club.
Yeah.
Can't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the first thing you learn when you go before they even show them a move or start teaching them anything. They get several classes of just, this is the rules of Taekwondo.
Right.
You know, and if you break those rules, you can get kicked out.
And I'd safely assume Kevin has always been a rule follower.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin never got in trouble, really.
I talked a lot. I did get in trouble for talking as a little
Like
kid.
in class. Yeah, I think I did too.
Wouldn't you be surprised I end up with a podcast? You know?
Look at us. Did you ever get like report cards where they were like, great student, talks a lot, talks
Yeah.
too much?
Yes, we did.
That's like what I got
Yes.
too. Yeah. Just like a little note, like a compliment sandwich. Like, she's great. She talks a lot. Maybe let's figure that out. But she's, very nice to everyone. Like, they had to kind of break it to us
Yep.
easily.
But that ended by the time he was in the 2nd or 3rd grade.
The talking? Oh, mine didn't. Mine still, I'm waiting for mine to end.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't remember that happening. I mean, I remember taking Taekwondo, but I don't remember don't remember that happening at school or anything.
Okay. Have you ever been in other situations where you thought I might have to whip out my Taekwondo skills?
No, not really.
Well, that's probably good.
I mean, yeah, no, not really. I would prefer not to.
I
I
don't
don't know
blame
how much
you.
I could do any of it anymore
Gonna
anyway.
Say, would you be able to
So-
now?
I mean, I can still probably do a couple things, but not really. No. Like, I mean, I used to be when I was, 4 feet tall, I used to be able to kick him in the head. So,
Oh, wow.
or reached high enough to kick him in the
Yeah.
head. So,
Would you take lessons again ever?
I don't know.
You don't have a ton of spare time.
Yeah.
So that would be difficult.
Yeah. I don't have a ton of spare time. After I hurt my knee in middle school, I can't really do a lot of pivoting and twisting and that
Oh.
kind of stuff either. So
Right.
that makes it a little difficult.
Sure.
I'm also a little bigger than I used to be. That doesn't help either.
Right. Did you play other sports or do any other?
I played baseball for 1 year.
Oh, my God.
I don't, you'll have to ask him, but you can ask him about that. That's a good one for you to
Yeah,
ask him.
tell me why is this
Okay.
funny?
He played baseball. I think it was for the boys' club, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, you played for the boys' club, and he played right field.
Okay.
Well, nobody hardly ever hits a ball through right field, just the way baseball is.
That's probably why I was
So we were sitting up in the stands. We was watching the game. Next thing I know, Kevin takes his baseball glove off. He acts aggravated, throws it down on the ground out in the outfield, and sits down on it in the middle of a game.
How old?
Oh, he's probably there again, probably 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah, so
Okay.
what is that? 7?
Yeah, okay. And why did you do that?
He was bored.
Bored.
He said, "I'm bored. Nobody hits me a ball. I'm just gonna sit down."
So you wanted to participate.
Yeah.
You wanted to,
Yeah, I
catch
guess.
or something. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Sounds terrible.
Well, as a parent, it was horrible. It was embarrassing.
To make you feel better, I played soccer for I don't know, maybe a year when I was 4. I was also in dance, which was clearly where I was meant to be because I would stop playing soccer and I would twirl.
Dance in the middle
Yeah,
of
I
the
would
field?
dance around. I would also stop and pick flowers. And I can't imagine it was really a super intense game as a bunch of 4 and 5-year-olds, but my parents tell me that all the kids just follow the ball and they're all just
Yeah.
around the
They
ball.
just huddle around the
Yeah,
ball. Yeah.
no one is doing anything else. The goalies might be by the goal. And I maybe kicked it twice in a whole year. And every time I kick it, I stopped and looked at my parents. I was like, did you see my kick? So never once. So I'm sure they were a little embarrassed as well.
It happens.
Yeah. Do you have 2 brothers?
Mm-hmm.
Did they play sports?
One of them played soccer a good number of years, and one of them played football a lot. Austin played soccer.
Austin played basketball some too.
Oh, did he play? He did play basketball. So one of them played soccer and basketball.
Okay.
Austin played soccer and basketball, and Dakota played
Dakota
football
played football.
for all the way through high school, and middle
Yeah,
school,
from about
and little,
first-
like
First grade, I think, through high school.
Oh, very nice.
So you
Because
played football a long
you're
time.
really into sports,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yes.
So you were. I safely assume you were like, any sport you guys will do, let's do it. Like you wanted your kids in sports.
I wanted my kids in sports, but not soccer.
Okay.
I hate soccer.
Like watching it.
I hate soccer, period. There's nothing about soccer I like.
Okay.
My brother played soccer,
yeah.
and I got all over. We traveled
Oh.
different places in the United States, and I got drug as a kid going.
okay.
So I despise soccer because of that.
I see. The backstory makes it make more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice.
yeah. So they both I mean, yeah, I didn't really play sports. I was more of a music
Yeah, you had a band.
artsy person. Yeah. So
Did you ever have like concerts?
we did like
like a gig?
one show one time. That was it, and then
We
we
played
played
at
we
your-
played at our high school
Yeah.
graduation.
Oh, that's right. That's very nice.
We wanted to play schools out, but our assistant principal told us that was a little tacky and wouldn't let us do that. So we got to play the song that plays at every
The Green-
graduation, the Green Day,
Day one? I can't
Best Years of Our Lives
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah,
Everyone knows it.
it's
Well,
it was what it was.
I have some questions regarding movies
Oh, was it that
for
time?
Ivan.
If
we want to.
do we want to do that? We can do that first. Yeah, that's
Sure.
fine.
Just to transition.
Yeah. It's yeah. So movies.
Yes.
Let's start with what we watched.
Yes.
Forrest Gump we watched. You actually my father actually watched this even though he does not like any of the movies that we watch. He
You haven't
actually
liked a
decided to
single
watch this
one.
Huh?
You haven't liked a single one.
Forrest Gump would be the only one that so far. I'm glad you asked
Wizard
me
of
to watch Forrest Gump and not one of the other ones because it probably wouldn't have happened.
Well, that's kind of why we picked.
That's
it.
what
We
Kevin
figured-
said, yeah.
He liked Wizard of Oz. He likes Wizard of Oz.
Oh, okay.
I've seen Wizard of Oz multiple times.
It's it's a classic.
It
But
is.
to me,
It's good.
all of these are like, not all of them, but a majority of these movies I would say are classics that I would assume everyone likes. So I might be biased, but okay. So what do we think about Forrest Gump?
You know how last week you questioned why Snow White is on that list?
Yeah.
I like Forrest Gump, but I think I know why it's on the list, but I would not personally think it would be on the list.
Agreed.
Because the reason I think it's on the list is because it goes through such a big portion of history
Yeah.
in its span of a movie, and hits on a number of big, like, what would have been pop culture things at the time and things that were happening, big historic events that happened at the
Yes.
time. An attempted assassination of a president, an actual assassination of a president, a resignation of a president, like several Vietnam War, like several different things that happened.
Yes.
And I think that's why it's in there. I do like the movie, and I do like Tom Hanks, and I like the cast. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed watching it again. It wasn't as long as I thought it was. I thought it was over 3 hours long. It's only 2.5, but
I agree. I think when it came out, it was probably the impact was much bigger than watching it now
Yeah.
today. So, yeah, I've kind of always thought Forrest Gump was overrated.
I think it gets that. Yes. I think it gets hyped up a little more than what it actually is. Yes.
I disagree.
You don't think it gets hyped up enough?
No, I think it gets hyped up where it should.
Where it
I think
should?
it's a great movie. I think it's one of his best roles.
Okay.
But, I did not remember it being as sad as what it was.
It's very sad.
I mean, that poor guy went through more trauma than anybody should ever go through.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a great role. I mean, it's not a movie I'm going to watch a bunch because it's not my style, but I thought it was very, very well done.
Oh, I think it's well done too, but I just don't. I think it does get trumped up as a very high caliber, high level movie, which I think it is a good movie. But I think it gets hyped up more than what it actually is. But
I guess that's possible. I mean, it's good.
it's got a great soundtrack.
it does. It definitely does.
But so, do you have any thoughts on the movie other than that? Like you.
I mean, I remember watching it pretty pretty young. I think I watched it. We were studying, I think, in one of my history classes in high school,
And watched it.
and we ended up watching like a version of it. They had to take some stuff out.
Yeah.
But I just remember being like, "This is the movie everyone's been talking about." This time watching it back, I once again, being older, like I had a little bit more appreciation just for how much went into the movie, the soundtrack and the cast, and the scene with Bubba is extremely sad. That I don't remember being as sad. That's like the worst part by far. I used to, when I was a kid, I thought the really sad part was like when they're doing like the flashback to Forrest as a little kid with Jenny in the field. Like when I was a kid, when I was younger, that part made me really sad. I thought that was like the saddest part. But now watching it again, I didn't even remember the part with Bubba.
Yeah.
So yeah, it had a lot of emotional moments.
Yeah. It does. It does. You don't, the first part of the movie, does that, so Forrest at the beginning has the braces on his legs, right?
Right.
You had those as a kid.
I did, yes.
Okay. Does that bring back any bad memories for you, like watching it? Does it make you think anything like being
PTSD.
bullied or anything like that?
Oh, I mean, it was horrible having them braces. You got picked on and everything else. I mean, I forgot that whole part of the movie till I watched it again. I forgot he had braces.
Yeah.
But no, I had those exact type, and it was horrible. When you're the only kid in the school that's wearing braces from your waist all the way down, it's horrible.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I only wore them through kindergarten, thank goodness.
Oh wow, and people
But
still were.
they still remember,
wow.
whenever you get older. But
Kids are cruel.
I was just about to say, kids are the worst. They're brutal.
Yeah.
kids
like,
are cruel, very
Up
much.
until like they're like even as teenagers,
Yeah.
people are still
Oh,
quite
definitely.
Yeah.
brutal.
So, other movies.
So okay, The Hangover.
Yes. It's a great movie.
Are you like the whole entire what is it? All three of them?
Trilogy.
I like them, and I like them in the order they are. Like number 1 would be my favorite. Number 2 would be second. Number 3, it's getting a little bit old by number 3. I'm glad they didn't come out. I hope they never come out with a number 4. If they do, I will definitely watch it, but I know it won't be that good.
So is it you just like comedies? Or
I love stupid comedy.
you like stupid comedies?
Yes.
And what would you say is the last genre you're picking?
The
Like,
what?
The genre you would least like to
What's the
watch?
least type, like the type of
least
movie?
favorite
Like
genre of movie?
horror,
love
suspense, action.
stories.
If you were going
That
to
I
pick
hate the
movie.
most?
Yeah.
Well, I will not watch a romance.
Okay.
I don't like those at all.
Okay.
I don't like. I like very few action movies. It's just not my thing.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, I liked Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. Is that the right?
Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were good.
Okay.
But most action movies, I don't care for them. Normally, I'm watching either a comedy or I'm watching a scary movie
Interesting.
or a gory movie.
Okay. What are some other of your favorite movies?
Oh, what about Bob?
Have you ever heard of that movie? Steve?
Nope.
Okay. It's
got-
a Bill Murray.
Who's in it?
It's got Bill Murray in it.
He's the main character. He's Bob.
I'm gonna have to look up who Bill Murray is really quickly.
He gets obsessed with his doctor,
His therapist.
his therapist. Yes,
Oh, I have heard of this movie.
it is hilarious.
Bill Murray. Yes. I know that.
Trains, Planes, and Automobiles is hilarious.
Okay.
I can't think of the couple names of the movie, but Last Vegas, I believe. It's got Morgan Shepherd in it.
Morgan Freeman.
Freeman, sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
And then Morgan Freeman is in another movie with a group of guys. I cannot think where they rob a bank because the bank takes their pension away.
Yeah, it's like a comedy.
It's another dumb comedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're both kind of comedy. Las Vegas is like a bunch of old people that go and like almost have like a bachelor type party in Vegas as a bunch of old people.
Interesting.
Old guys. But it's very much dumb comedies and gory
Okay.
horror films. Because he's not even into the scary as much horror films. He wants the gore, usually.
anything kind of like the Wizard of Oz movies that you do like? Some more like quote unquote classics, stereotypically.
Not really. I mean, I'm sure there's some out there, but I can't think of the name of them. I don't watch a lot of movies anymore.
Okay.
I never really have watched a ton of movies.
Gotcha.
Sports is the number one
Sports.
thing. Yeah.
Do you like movies about sports? They're usually not that
No,
funny.
because they're usually
Like
very
drama.
cheesy done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
kinda are.
Hangover's not cheesily done.
It is.
Well, it's different though.
I'm giving you a hard time.
I know you are.
That's funny though. Okay. Yeah, I don't.
The
So
weirdest
you
one to
guys-
me is the stressing over Shrek. That's the weirdest one.
Remind me,
Getting stressed about watching Shrek.
like because you didn't like it.
Oh, I love Shrek. I think it's a great movie.
So what stresses you about it?
I cannot answer that. I don't know, but I have watched it probably 8 or 10 times, and
You get stressed.
a little bit, and I don't know why. I know
From
what's
the-
going to happen.
From the get. You get stressed.
From the start?
Oh, I mean, no, probably, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And does it go away like throughout? It gets less or it gets worse as the movie goes on?
It goes away at the end of the movie.
Okay. At the very end. So
Yeah,
it's
when
just,
it's
like,
it's over.
across the
When
whole
it's over, it
it's
goes
done.
away.
Do you get like are you like I guess if you don't know, you can't really answer the question, but do you think it has something to do are you like empathizing with the characters and you know they go through like triumphs, so you're like, "Oh no, I'm stressed for them?"
I really don't know.
That's the strangest thing.
It is. I'll agree.
I get stressed when I watch certain things, but it's not Shrek. Do you have that with any movies where you're like
No,
just
not really.
you get anxiety watching it?
Not really.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess if I'm watching like a suspense, like horror or suspense movie, there might be a moment where I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? Like, what's gonna happen next? There's gonna be something happen that's going to be scary. What's it gonna be? But it's like however long that scene is, and then once it happens, it's okay, it's over, and then on to the next thing.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if this is. Do you have any TV shows you like to watch? Current?
I will watch America's Got Talent, but I will only watch it on YouTube because I want to see the best of
Oh,
or
yeah,
Golden
like a
Buzzer. I won't watch
compilation.
it on regular. There's no television shows on that I watch really on a
Okay.
regular basis.
Okay.
Pretty much, if I'm not watching sports, I'm watching YouTube, or usually that's about it.
Okay. But not like sitcoms. It would be like a more like reality or competition type of show.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, on YouTube, I'm usually watching something on Route 66, or I'm watching
Historic thing.
a lot of history things. I'll watch stuff on cruise ships because I love to cruise. So if they put something out on a cruise ship, I'll watch that and stuff like that's mainly what I watch.
Okay.
Mountain climbing.
Did you ever really like sitcoms? Did you like Cheers or any of those types of shows when they were on?
I liked Cheers at a certain time when Ted Danson.
Ted Danson?
Yeah, whenever he was on there, I didn't like Coach. Everybody thinks that's weird because everybody liked Coach. I didn't care for Coach.
Yeah, but Ted Danson, Coach was another sitcom back in the day.
No. You
talking about-
Coach was on Cheers.
Oh, okay. There
And
was
then-
another sitcom called Coach too.
Coach was
Oh.
great. Coach was a good. Back when I was a kid, there was a show called The Waltons.
Okay.
And it was based like back in the, I don't know, probably the 30s or 40s. And it was a really good show. But you got to figure back when I was a kid, we had 3 channels. We didn't have 3,000 channels.
Right.
Sanford and Son is probably, as far as a television show goes, Sanford and Son would be my all-time favorite.
Okay.
Does that beat out the Munsters?
Munsters would be second.
Okay.
But Sanford would
Have
be
you ever heard
first.
of either one of these?
Is the Munsters the one that's like the Addams Family, but it's not?
Yes.
Yes.
It's more of
Way
it's-
better.
It's more.
Better.
I'd say it's funnier than the Addams Family. It's not as Addams Family was very dry humor. Like they're kind of like
See, I prefer dry humor.
yeah. I think
I want
they're
stupid
they're they're a drier humor, whereas the Addams Family is like actually like jokes, like a sitcom. Like
Yeah, that's not
they're
my.
not the Addams Family, the Munsters.
Yeah. So I think I know the answer to this, but I might be surprised. How do you feel about stand-up comedy?
I'm not a big stand-up comedy guy at all. I mean, we've seen a lot of different acts. We've seen Seinfeld. and I think he's horrible.
Yeah, he didn't like Seinfeld. He laughed the whole time, but he says he didn't like Seinfeld. I don't really get it.
I don't like Seinfeld at all. I mean, we seen Bill Cosby.
We did not see Bill Cosby.
I seen Bill Cosby.
You might have. We were supposed to go and it got canceled.
We went another time.
I didn't go.
That was very quick
Well,
to remind you.
I've seen Bill Cosby. He was okay.
Seen George Carlin.
Seen George Carlin. He was. Did we see George Carlin?
You saw him more than once. I saw him once.
That's right. He's great.
Okay, I
He
was
my
like,
favorite.
to me, that's the best out of all the names you just said. Yeah,
Jeff Dunham. We seen him.
Oh, he's so good too.
He's not as good as Terry Fader though.
Terry Fader.
Terry Fader was like on America's Got Talent. He
has a show in Vegas.
Okay, I'm just looking.
I don't think he's not as he doesn't do as much. His is more singing though, isn't it? There's
does a
some
lot.
jokes, but it's a lot of singing.
I
He
think
does puppets.
Yeah,
he has puppets.
It's
I
the
think
same. Yeah,
the thing that makes him so talented, I think, is he can sing so many. He can sing so many different people's voice
That is a pretty.
with his talent.
he's
and throw
talented.
it.
I don't
know.
think it's as I don't like it as much as Jeff Dunham because it's not. I just prefer the jokes.
Right.
So
Yeah. See, I like Terry Fader better.
Okay. There is something about impressions that are so funny, and I don't know why. I've yet to figure it out. It's like you don't even have to say anything funny, but it's just funny seeing someone
a good
do
impressionist.
something so accurately.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
If you one of my favorites that I've seen in a long time was I think you can find it on YouTube of Robin Williams doing a stand-up show at the Met.
Oh my gosh.
It's just
I
him on
love
a
him.
stage with a chair and then him just running back and forth across the stage front to back and forth. Like he's got so much energy. It was amazing. But yeah, it's hilarious cuz he's also, going in and out of voices and accents and stuff like he normally does, and it's just comical. Like
Yeah, it is. It's so funny.
See, I don't like him as a stand-up either. I love him as an actor,
Okay.
but not stand-up.
okay.
Do you have any actors I was just about to ask, any actors you watch their stand up like Will Ferrell or Kevin Hart if you like comedies?
I mean, there again, I like Kevin Hart in as an actor. I don't like his stand-up.
You've watched
seen
it though, and you're not.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite either, to be honest. But I also don't really any movie that he's in they're just all the same to me.
They're
A
all
lot of
dumb
his stuff
comedies
is
too,
the same.
though, which makes
Same
sense
with
that you
Will
wouldn't like it.
Ferrell.
Yeah.
Like
they're all dumb comedies.
same.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell's hilarious. So
Man,
He is hilarious.
I
But
think he's funny in like interviews. I don't find his movies to be that funny.
Oh, see, Stepdad. Is it Stepdad 2 or
Step
Stepdaddy
Brothers?
2?
oh no,
Oh,
your daddy's home.
Daddy's Home.
That's
That's
what it
it.
is,
Yeah, I'm getting it mixed up with that.
Number 2, though, is better than number 1 on that one.
But
I don't know. Maybe it's cynical of me. I don't think I've ever laughed at like a Will Ferrell movie.
Really?
That's
Oh,
a-
my gosh.
that's a hard one there. Like
Or like Anchorman, they just make me like
It's just
cringe.
cringe,
It's
yeah.
like you watching Shrek. I'm stressed because I'm so embarrassed for them. I'm like, this is too much.
Well, some of Will Ferrell's stuff is ridiculous.
It is. Yeah, or like Steve Carell, any of those people. Like I can respect them. I don't think they're funny.
See, I like certain things Steve Carell does, but not everything.
I do like though. Going back to The Hangover, Zach Galifianakis is hilarious.
Now, which one is
He
he?
plays.
he's the one that's carrying around the baby.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
their names.
Okay.
I don't remember his name.
Sunglasses.
Alan.
Yep,
Okay.
he plays Alan.
Yeah.
And he does these interviews. I don't know if you've ever
Between
seen.
two ferns.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's the most. He just with a straight face, like they break all the time and they laugh. But he just interviews actors, like super respected actors, and he'll just like roast them and say the meanest thing. And I don't even know if I could say it. They're usually.
I think you might like it
offensive.
because it's very stupid humor, but it's him just sitting there and interviewing somebody and asking ridiculous
Like,
questions.
Just an example, is Benedict Cumberbatch. Do you know who that is? He's in Marvel movies.
I don't watch Marvel
Okay,
movies.
well, he's a very respected actor,
Okay.
but he has a British accent. And so Zach Galifianakis, like very formal interview style, just with a straight face, asks him something like, "Do you think your accent hides how terrible of an actor you are?" And these people just start cracking up because it's so ridiculous that he's asking them these horribly offensive questions. So that I love. If you ever get a chance, I think you should.
I'd never heard of it. I'll have to watch it.
It's so
Called
funny.
Between two ferns.
Yes.
Between two friends. Okay.
Yeah, that that kind of stuff is pretty funny. I agree.
That
with
is.
That's,
But is that like dry humor? I feel like that's dry.
I think that's a dry.
Like,
Yeah,
su-
that's a
like
dry
the
humor.
driest
Yes.
as it gets, and I love it.
Because he's just sitting there keeping a straight face, just
That's-
like almost completely serious.
Yes, just saying terrible, terrible things to these people.
Yeah.
Well,
Is that
should we pick a movie for next week?
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit. You want to watch Clockwork Orange?
I do, and it is a strange movie.
Yeah, it's a strange movie.
So we might have an interesting conversation next time we record.
Yeah.
But something about it,
It's calling you right now. Is that what it
maybe
is?
it's just I love. It's like visually just.
It's a
It's
fever
like
dream.
hypnotizing. Yes, it's a fever dream. That is exactly how I would describe it. It's like a car crash. You can't look away. The whole movie is crazy. It's absurd. It is weird, but there's just so much going on. I feel like the details are very specific, and the whole thing is kind of almost like foggy. Like it's like trippy almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I could watch it all the time.
Yeah. And Dad, you said you've seen it
hypnotizes
several times.
Yeah, I've seen it 4 or 5 times.
Why
Which
have
is
you?
odd that you've seen that
Yeah.
one that many times.
Like I say, it's just one of them ones that it's just you watch it because it's so strange. It's just this is just weird.
Yeah.
I mean that's what it
Exactly.
is.
True.
But I guess you can still think that and still not be a huge fan of it.
Right.
I personally love that movie.
Yeah, it's I've only seen it a couple times, and it's a good movie, but it's weird, and it's kind of messed up. But I think that's a good place to end this week, Dad.
All right.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Thanks.
And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.